welcome to crowdworking for the third week of January
Yeah.
2013.
Almost we're in February there, weren't you?
And here we have crowdworking, where we look at some of the campaigns and projects that are actually on some of these crowdworking platforms. And today we've got Softwalks, the pilot project. Now, this is another one that you've discovered.
Yeah.
So tell us about Softwalks.
Well, Softwalks, at its core, New York City, whenever I've been in the times that I've been, everywhere seems to have a fair old smattering of scaffolding. Somebody or somewhere is having work done on their apartments, or you could turn a block, and that block, the whole side is full of scaffolding.
Yeah.
And so what they've done is they've gone, how can we make these a bit more of a friendlier space? So they've created a bunch of things that snap onto the scaffold poles. Yeah. And you've got them in front of you.
I have, yeah. I mean, I discovered something new, which was sidewalk sheds.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of these, there seem to be lots of permanent bits of scaffolding, which seem to be called, like sidewalks. We don't have sidewalks in the UK. No. We have pavements. And I suppose the scaffolding, which is temporary, there seems to be more of these sidewalk sheds, and so the idea of them just being able to clamp on to poles, and those little tables, little chairs, and Phil will put in some screenshots for you to have a look. But they've got little tables and little chairs, fold away ones as well, so you can have them up on balcony areas. Brilliant idea. But they wanted $13,500. And with only 7 days left to go on their campaign, they ended up with £13,764.
So they just made it.
But
they got 250 people. So there's obviously those 250 people put fair amounts of money into it. So that's a very hardcore 250 people that they've got there.
So their sidewalk transforms sheds into functional public spaces for everyone to enjoy. This campaign will fund our project pilot. Softwalks began 2 years ago as a project at Parsons New School for Design, inspired by watching stretches of Broadway blossom in pedestrian plazas. So I like that idea of community spaces that are being validated by putting chairs there.
It's quite an interesting thing, because when you are a tourist and you're walking around the city, you tend to not want to go into a place that you don't know about, because you don't know if it's any good or not. And also, when you're walking between places, or you're walking back from clubs or bars, whatever, you might not necessarily want to go and sit on some chairs in front of a restaurant, because that expects you to have a drink or whatever, where if you can walk around a corner and there's these sort of chairs on the scaffolding, you sort of take 5 minutes.
Also, I think health and safety, you haven't got cafes with loose chairs all around the pavements that you can knock into, and they're sort of fixed. And
not only the chairs, they've also got these little just ledges, so you can sort of go up there and put your coffee. There's a lot of people walk around the city drinking coffee and eating snacks. So I like the idea of being able to just put it on there and say, let's catch up. You know?
And just a little example of their perks, because I think that's sort of an important thing. One of the reasons why we sort of bring these to attention is to give people who want to do their own campaign an idea of what sort of perks are applicable. So they start at $5, which is just a visual high five and a hug. We sincerely appreciate your support. They had 48 of those. $20, a sidewalk shed business card holder, a nifty object will elevate your cards. And they've had 53 of those, and they've got $30, $40, $100, $350, $500 sidewalk planter for inside and outside your home. So they've got products that are associated alongside the actual chairs, aren't they?
They're basically trying to tidy up the sidewalks, aren't they, as well, at the same time. So,
Yeah, and then their top one is $1,000, sidewalk light reflector or planter, initially developed for sidewalk shed. We have carefully redesigned this as an object for your home.
How many of those did they sell?
They didn't sell any of those. The $800 they did 2 of, which was a sidewalk seat.
Okay.
Your very own.
Oh, one of those is named after you or something?
No, you get one to put on your balcony or... Yeah.
They're really cool seats. They look really strong as well. I guess they've got to be for health and safety. I was a little bit concerned that these things would pull the scaffolding down. But, I
think there's more
they're a bit more fixed, aren't they?
Yeah, this idea of the sidewalk sheds, which we don't really have in the UK.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I kind of like the idea of reusing spaces in the public. I think we need a lot more seats that are a bit more friendlier ledges. That's it for this week. We will catch up with you next week. Thanks for watching. Do subscribe to the shows. Do check us out on Google+, and we'll see you next week.
you.